Hey, welcome everybody to another architectural critique. Today or tonight, we're going to go over a very cool architect that I personally like. His name is Kundig, Tom Kundig, and he is probably the most iconic and what if you think of luxury, he is what you would typically see. Most modern homes, most homes around the country have tried to mimic his style, his kind of technique. He was one of the very first architects to kind of incorporate floor-to-ceiling windows and doors and things like that. So this home here is called, well, it doesn't have a name, just call it 1301 Collingwood Place, which is on Hollywood, California, up on the hills. So we'll go through this and see kind of how this is actually modern architecture at its finest. This is what happens when you hire an actual architect to design your building. And it's not a big building. I think it's only 10,000 square feet. So compared to some of these gigantic 30,000 square feet buildings, this building actually talks more and creates more spaces that help interact with people.
Welcome to 1301 Collingwood. I'm Tom Kundig, the architect.
There's the man
This
himself.
location is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me, professionally and personally.
Just look at that beautiful house. And you see his use of materiality. He's not overusing things. He's specific in the type of materials he uses. For example, here, this band of stone, very intentional. This cantilevered bedroom here creates a canopy above this outdoor space, and you'll see a lot of that in his work. Is that he creates this really cool mechanisms to open up spaces. A lot of his smaller projects, little cabins, have this really unique mechanical mechanisms, which you'll probably see here. But you can see just in the language itself, you have this really light band here, which is almost at level with this greenery to kind of help it merge with the landscape. And you also have this black outline of the building, which, also during nighttime you're not going to see, so you're going to see just this illuminated fishbowl
Not only was I working for a friend, but I was working for a friend on an unbelievable site over, of course, one of the most unbelievable cities in the world.
Yep. You see the view here? Got downtown LA here. So it is a beautiful view. Like I said, it's a very small project, but just the quality of work that he produces for the limited space is amazing. I mean, I could just imagine what type of work he would produce if he had this really huge space. But I think by nature, his type of projects are smaller, and that's how he can create very unique experiences that big billion-dollar homes can't even, or close to billion-dollar homes, right? The one crazy home can't even come close to creating the same atmosphere and moments.
So for me, this location on the side of a hill, on the overlooking Los Angeles down below us, was for an architect. I could explore those things that what houses are all about. Houses are about prospect. Houses are about refuge. And this house is everything about that outer edge of Prospect, looking out over the view, but also about the refuge and how to become intimate, how to become close, and how to sort of be protected.
I also appreciate that he's not using a lot of architectural jargon. If you go listen to any architectural convention or speech, you'll see that they'll start to use all this crazy jargon. And I think that's a cool thing about Kundig, is that he expresses his thoughts in a manner that anybody can understand. But it's very articulated what he's trying to convey to the viewer, the audience, about his building design.
The question of how to sort of open this building with its doors and windows becomes a technical question also, because we're trying to grab that.
So here you can see one of his mechanisms. He loves using counterweights. And here he's using a counterweight at this top portion here to kind of create, and not only does it create a visual, kind of playful opening, because you're going to see this two forces this big pendulum thing swing down, while you have this really light window kind of swing up.
That big landscape out there and bring that into this house and through the house into the garden, you have to make relatively large moves, if that makes sense. So making large moves is actually a technical issue. So with gearing and motors and sort of interlock systems, we're able to, in a sense, not magically,
cool.
They may seem magic,
those heaters
but
come down.
In a sense,
So yeah, he's a big fan of using pulleys and gears and motors instead of opting out for just, you could use a smaller, electric motor to get things, but he really likes using these mechanical systems as a way to incorporate the design into the building.
Not magically.
I'll show some of his other work, just so you guys get an idea of So you see some of his other work here, and you'll see the same principle. Where is this? Oh goodness, these websites now. Where's the projects? There you go. So he did the LeBron James building. Oh, such a beautiful building. And I'm sure he can. I think in his larger buildings, he doesn't include any mechanical kind of funny things, but you can kind of see here his process of sketching. This is how we all start in architecture: sketch, boom, and hopefully have enough money to make it a reality. So this is kind of reminiscent of 𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗓𝗦𝗓, their opera house, and this kind of the same kind of idea with this progression, with this kind of vent space. So you see, he's just like a running track as a progression. Oh, there's more pictures. Which is pretty cool. Just beautiful diagrams inside. So that's his. Let's go to residential, which he does a lot of the cool stuff. There's a little one that he's really well known for. Here you go. Chicken Point Cabin. So see, there's this mechanism here, this I don't know what you call it, a pulley lever system, where he turn this little thing, opens this door. Oh, there you go. And the idea is this little kid can open it, in this massive. So it has a really impactful design statement. Some of the sketches, just really beautiful, clean, simple. And the final thing is a beautiful mix of materiality. I'm sure he was limited in budget, but the way he used standard CMU blocks, concrete, glass where he could, steel beams with a wood, looks like plywood ceiling. It's a really cool mechanism. And there's also these little cabins. Where's the little cabins? Oh, this is another beautiful one. This is what I'm saying. So a lot of these projects, what I would always wonder is I worked on these high-end residential projects, like, why don't you guys, hire someone like Kundig? And these clients, they had millions and millions of dollars. They could afford this. Oftentimes they get this, in my opinion, sucked in by GCs who say they built these giant homes, but these giant homes don't have any architectural soul to them. This is a beautiful home that kind of gives you a sense of how to merge interior exterior, which you'll hear a lot of GCs say that. You'll hear a lot of these big buildings, they'll be like, oh, we're trying to bring the inside in, but they never do. Now this is a literal take on that. You'll see here a sketch. Look at this beautiful entry, and this entry is similar to Louis Kahn. He used to do a lot of these kind of hidden entries, but you see there's still this play of very vast open nature space, very intimate corridor here into this opening, and I'm sure on this side it's gonna open up, and this idea of playing with expansion and contraction of spaces to create moments. So see here that you actually cut into the rock and there's a part of the rock. So it's like a mix of, you know, Louis Kahn, Frank Lloyd Wright. So very interesting. I'm trying to see if they show the entryway, hidden bookshelf. I want to see the entryway. Where's the entryway? A shower, I'm assuming. I don't see the entryway, so it's somewhere here. Oh, so it's hidden behind that bookcase. So let's see. What's this house called? The Pierre. So if you guys ever want to see floor plans and things like that, Art Daily is a very good website to go to. Usually they have floor plans and sections. There we go. Section view. Oh no, I don't want to tell. And here's a floor plan. So here's what I'm talking about. Look at where they put the bathroom too. Incorporated into that giant rock. But you can kind of see this big black bulge, and black poche is going to be the natural landscape. You see here's the entrance. So you walk in, compression, come in here, which is the foyer. And I'm guessing this is probably going to be a mud room or a powder room. So you have little benches here where you sit down and put your stuff, probably coat hangers. And then this is that library that opens up into the open space. But I believe that open space is a very tall ceiling. So yeah, we look at the section. That's that restroom area. And yeah, so here, so you see you come in at this level here, you're at eye level, you walk in here, you have a intimate space. But as soon as you cross this threshold here, boom, space opens up. So that's the idea of creating a moment in space. So that's kind of what he does. He might.
It may seem magic, but it's actually just hard work
and his whole
to sort of assemble a system that basically uses gears, uses hydraulics, uses motors to basically open and close this this place to the landscape and the garden. Everything about this house is about finding your way easily around all aspects of the house. And in a way, the house is a house of...
So this view here is beautiful. So it's one thing that I appreciate about this, this asymmetry, right? So he could have pushed this cantilever on top of this to kind of match ground and force, but what he did was he pushed it to the left. And it creates this asymmetry, which creates this beautiful view. Not only that, this canopy here covers this portion of the pool. So it's an interesting way of doing things. And that kind of reduces the monotony of the design.
Of doors and windows that open and close to this landscape. So the entry door is just...
See, that's really cool.
Simply an introduction to how you enter this.
So the entry door becomes a canopy, but it's not itself. It's not the door itself. It's a portion of the door, and then you still have the open door.
House and windows that open and close magically. On this main level, the challenge, but also the opportunity, was to do a home that felt like a home, but also could expand in a sense to engage large groups. So the way the main level works, it's a series of open rooms between each.
And Orchard is going to say, oh, open, but when done by interior designers, it sucks. When done by an architect properly, it's good. So you see it's not completely open, right? He's using partitions as a way to divide the spaces, but not like a whole wall. Like here, for example, this simple wall divides the space.
Each room. So if you are in one area, you feel comfortable, you feel intimate if it's just one or two of you or three or four. But if it expands, it easily expands, and everybody can kind of see between these spaces, both inside and outside. Hopefully everybody recognizes these pools are very much intended to be almost the invite to that big expanse, that big view off in the distance, to go out to experience that edge on the hills overlooking the city. It's a way of literally extending the experience, that somewhat exciting experience of getting to the edge of something. And in this case, you're in the water, you're actually swimming out to that edge. Anytime you're working at this level for a home like this, the large bedroom becomes a very important part of the experience, because in fact, in a way, it's the most private and the most sort of special and intimate. So it is planned in the building to sort of take that leading edge, and in this case, literally that leading edge, almost as if you're in a treehouse overlooking the hillside and overlooking the city, and of course overlooking the horizon line. The garage and theater are both share that same.
So look at the theater. It's very small, but it's a theater. He didn't go over the top with designs and things like that. Very intimate space. It serves its function. Doesn't need all this crazy lighting, all this crazy seating. It's still a luxurious space.
Same sort of ancillary space that supports this main level. The garage.
They went with that Batman garage, which is, I mean, it's nice. I see that concrete coming down through the bottom. I really like the look of the concrete.
I think
like your Ferrari.
The capacity of the garage is 4 or 5 cars, and it is indeed a place where the cars take a special situation. There's a little furniture group down there. There's a huge door that opens into the slot car is in the property, and so there's a story about automotive. The automotive culture here in Los Angeles, which I think is really important, because in fact those cars are sculptures, those are art pieces, and you begin to sort of experience them with guests. The fireplace devices or gears or gizmos, whatever you want to call them, are in fact operable. They're manually operable. Yeah. There are counterweights on either side of basically a wheel, and you can very easily lift a relatively heavy screen up. So it becomes a functional device, but it's also a poetic device, so you can see how physics works, which is exactly what architecture is about. Architecture is about the functional and the poetic.
Action.
And these lights are in the spirit of the house. They're basically just like the house. You can modify them depending on how you want to use them. Do you want to use them more in a more intimate setting? Maybe you use half of this table, or you use the whole table, but you bring it down low. You can also raise it up if in fact you want to use sort of a larger table group. This table is actually on wheels also, and it's part of my accessory line. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to move it either towards the garden or out towards the view. Again, it's just in the spirit of the house, being something that is flexible, morphable. You can choreograph how you use this house all day long if you want to, or for an event. The shutters are also intentionally a functional and poetic device. Basically, they are functional. In fact, what they'll do is they'll mitigate solar gain. In the down position, they take out about 50% of the solar gain into the interior. That's obviously an energy saving strategy, but it's also a glare saving device, so that when glare.
There you go, man. That's what I'm saying. If you got money, make a real gym. This guy, squat rack, ellipticals, all this stuff. So there's a good gym right here. But yeah, the blinds, shades, it's a 𝗓𝗓𝗕𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓𝗘 typical use. I mean, the way he's using them here is a motorized way. So what he's basically saying is that at a certain position, the sun's probably going to be hitting this way. So they serve to block that. And then once the sun gets higher, they'll lift up, basically creating, I think these kind of overlap into each other. So then they create this kind of shade pocket that's going to block the sun coming in.
saving
direct
device, so that when the weather is perfect, the situation with the sun is perfect, you can then open these devices, which are on an electric motor, and they become overhangs for the house, if that makes sense. So in the vertical position, they filter the light, and in a horizontal position, they actually are shading the light to the interior. Los Angeles is all about indoor and outdoor situations, and the capacity to change those depending on what that situation is. Southern California is a paradise, a climate paradise. So if there's a way to keep the promise.
Look at this. I didn't notice this is like kind of outdoor area on top of here. Just nice.
Of indoor and outdoor, I'm going to try to do that, and this house is all about.
If I was that rich and I get Kundig to design my home, I would want a large section drawn by him to frame.
About breaking that indoor-outdoor relationship. So
there you go. That's the top portion. It's there's that cantilever area that's above the pool, I believe.
Perfect day like today, you can.
Yep. Here you go. So we got. Oh no, this is the cantilever portion.
Literally just drift from the very edge to the inside.
And you also see here, he had the option to go 35 feet from ground level, I believe, to top. And what do most GCs do? They build on top of here, and it kind of kills it. So you're basically stuck with doing a basement, a ground level, a second floor, and then a top floor, because you want that space here when you don't need it, to be honest. If you're already on the hill, you literally have view here, so you only need 2 spaces. What they ended up doing in this project is it's still 35 feet, I think, from bottom of this portion to the top. But when you have that much footage, you can do a lot more with your interior spaces and heights, and which is nice. Which is why you'll see a lot of these modern, I call them, what I would call them, cookie cutter giga mansions. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll call them cookie cutters, because they're not muck mansions. That's a whole different thing. You'll see they'll try to use these giant spaces. But this is
like
nice,
today,
intimate.
you can literally just drift from the very edge.
And then the materiality here, you can kind of see the way he's framing the views. He's not just wrapping. Yeah, there's portions that have all glass around them, but most projects you see have glass every single room, every single wall, right? Here, he creates it's still private, but you see there's this opening here, and so you have your own private look at LA. And then you have this perfect framing of a tree. So I'm sure we're looking from here to here. You have this amazing image of a tree and it's LA skyline.
To the inside. This place breathes its environment. I hope you enjoy the tour of this home. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me to work on this property in this city.
Hope I work for him one day. Beautiful shot. How much this thing costs? Oh, let's see. There you go. They made it private. I want to see it. Oh, there you go. 37 million. Holy smokes. For 29,000 square feet, actually. Oh, no, the lot's 29,000. The 15,000 square feet for the property. So, yeah. So, I mean, we only saw a portion of it. They didn't show the main areas. So, that's pretty cool. I guess you're paying a premium for that Kundig design. What's an architectural digest, so that's, I guess, good. I wish it was in Wall Street Journal or a deal. These are like whack websites. Telegraph, Matching Global. it don't matter. Only our daily matters. All right. Well, that was my quick video on this mansion that I like. Check him out. I'll put the website here again, so you guys could look at some of his work. Really cool stuff to get into. Get inspired. All you aspiring architects, all you aspiring students. Sorry. This is the work that you want to produce. Kundig, amazing architect. I think everybody should have his book. They should have 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 He does appear in my books, but I do not have his book. Which book do I have? I don't know. I think in next video we'll probably go over books, I guess. Well, books for architecture lovers, for students that, you know, help you think outside the box. No, don't ask to look at my stuff, because my stuff is outdated. Kids nowadays are very, very good. So yeah, Kundig, I'll leave a description down below. Thank you for tuning in to the second video in our series, Architectural Critique. So this is just a good one, because I felt like I was too harsh on the last one. So I wanted to show something that, you know, I enjoy, that's really well built. And I guess it goes back to the topic of, you know, less is more, which is, you know, a very famous architectural phrase. I forgot who coined it. I should know this. But I think it was 𝗧𝗦𝗕𝗦𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍𝗍. I don't know. I remember. Or Franklin. No, not Franklin. Less is more is probably 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 hope you guys liked the video. Click subscribe and enjoy for all architecture and working out videos. I still have to finish putting together some other videos, but I'll upload them as soon as I can. Good night. Architecture out.